Good morning, everyone. I'm Ramandeep Kaur Kalra, and I'm RCIC counsel for the case of Philip Torres versus Minister of Public Safety and Emergency Preparedness. I have with me Mr. Jitender Singh, RCIC counsel, Mr. Kamal Jogi as Philip. He will be an appellant in the case. Good morning, Madam Member. This appeal arises from the decision of the Visa Office in Brazil, dated September 10, 2019, refusing Mr. Torres' application for permanent residence travel document on the basis that he did not meet the residency obligation under Section 28 of the Immigration Refugee Protection Act. Mr. Torres respectfully submits that while he did not meet the 730-day physical presence requirement, there are sufficient humanitarian and compassionate grounds, including the best interest of a minor child, to justify allowing this appeal under Section 67, subsection 1C of the ARPA. Now, I would like to cross question Mr. Philip. Mr. Philip, good morning. Please state your full name for the record.
My name is Philip Torres.
When did you first come to Canada and under what program?
I came to Canada from Brazil on October in October 2013 under a federal skilled worker program.
What were your goals when you immigrated?
I wanted to build a stable life in Canada, work in my field of IT, and eventually bring my daughter Marcella to live with me, and so that she could have a secure future.
Tell us something about your life in Canada after landing.
I settled in Toronto and found employment as an IT specialist with Nikon Technologies. I loved my work, made new friends, and felt proud to be contributing.
Did you have any personal relationship during the time you were in Canada?
Yes, I met a woman named Rosemary Giffen in 2014. We moved in together and later bought a condo unit under both of our names.
How would you describe your establishment in Canada before leaving?
I was very well established. I had a full-time job, paid my taxes, owned a property, and was quite financially stable.
Did you maintain any financial or community ties?
Yes, I maintained my Canadian bank account and filed my taxes in 2015 and stayed in touch with my colleagues and friends.
When did you leave Canada and why?
I left in March 2015 after my grandmother, Adriana Torres, who raised me after my parents' deaths, had fallen seriously ill.
Can you describe your grandmother's role in your life?
She was my de facto mother. When my parents died in 1992, she took care of me and my two sisters. I owed her everything, my upbringing, my values, my education, everything.
What were your intentions when you left?
I only planned to stay for about 3 months, long enough to help arrange some medical care and ensure my daughter Marcela was fine.
What happened after you arrived in Brazil?
My grandmother's health had deteriorated quickly. She was in and out of the hospitals, and doctors were not able to diagnose what's wrong with her. She could not look after herself or Marcela. I extended my leave from work several times to take care of them.
What efforts did you make to get help for caring for your grandmother?
I tried to hire some caregivers, but she was very difficult with strangers and refused their help. She only trusted me.
Did anyone else in your family help?
No, unfortunately, no, could not. My sisters had both moved overseas, one to Portugal and another to England, and each had young children. They couldn't come back.
Did you consider returning to Canada during that time?
Many times, actually. But every time I thought she was improving, my grandmother was improving, she would fall sick again. Basically, she needed like 24 hours regular care. Leaving her and my daughter alone wasn't an option for me.
How did you support yourself financially while abroad?
I used my Canadian saving bank to, support myself. My employer granted me 3 extensions of unpaid leave. When that ended, I had no income, only my savings.
How did this affect your job in Canada?
Eventually, my employer had to terminate my position in December 2015 due to my prolonged absence.
What happened with your partner, Rosemary, during your extended stay in Brazil?
She became frustrated with our relationship because I was away for a long time. And in January 2016, that she told me that, she had met someone else and, we decided to end our relationship.
And you said you had a property. So, what arrangements did you make regarding your belongings and your property?
I arranged it through my friend Javier Potet to collect my belongings and store them with him safely. Rosemary and I agreed to sell my condo unit and pay me my share later.
Were you able to maintain any connections to Canada afterward?
Yes, I kept my bank account active and continued to file my taxes for 2015. As I always plan to return, once situation allowed.
For the next part of mock hearing, Mr. Jitender Singh, ICIC Council, will take over and proceed with the cross questioning of Philip.
Hi, Mr. Philip. My name is Jitender Singh, and I will be asking you some more questions. How are you
Mhm.
doing today?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Philip, looking back, did you have any real choice about staying in Brazil?
Honestly, no. As I told, my grandmother raised me. Um, when she became terminally ill, I couldn't abandon her.
Okay, and what values guided your decision to remain with her?
It's all about my duty, my gratitude, and love for my grandmother. In my culture, you take care of your elders. Like she sacrificed her life for us after my parents' death. But and that time I felt it's my turn now.
When did your grandmother pass away?
She passed away on February 16, 2018.
How did her passing affect you and your daughter, Marcela?
It was really devastating for Marcella. It was like losing her mother again. She was deeply attached to my grandmother, and it was very hard for her.
And how did you cope during that period?
I focused on supporting Marcella emotionally and handling my grandmother's estate matters. I felt lost for a while, but my goal to return to Canada kept me strong.
What do you believe is in your daughter's best interest now?
I believe to live in Canada. It's a secure country where she can heal and grow. She deserves stability, opportunity, and a secure future.
And after your grandmother's death, what steps did you take towards returning to Canada?
I arranged the sale of my condo unit in Toronto. Once the sale was closed in 2019, in May of 2019, I immediately used those funds and applied for my PRTD right away.
And what is the reason you still want to return to Canada after several years?
Because Canada, I believe Canada is my home now. So, I built my life there and I still believe in its values. I want to raise my daughter in a place that respects work and integrity.
Okay, and have you kept in touch with anybody from Canada during that time?
Yes, I'm in regular contact with my former colleague and friend John Smith and my close friend Javier Potet. And I also made new friends in Nikon Technologies. Javier still stores my belongings in Toronto in his garage.
And did you maintain any official or financial link to Canada, such as your income tax filing and your bank statements and all that?
Yes, I kept my bank account active, and that's how I was, supporting myself here in Brazil, and maintained contact with my former employer and colleagues. I also monitored my tax obligations and stayed informed about Canadian developments in IT.
And what are your plans if your appeal is allowed today?
I plan to return immediately, secure some employment in the IT sector, and enroll Marcela in school. I want to contribute again and rebuild our life in Canada.
And how would you describe yourself as a person, Mr. Torres?
Mm, I see myself as a responsible, family-oriented, and compassionate person. I always believed in fulfilling my obligations, whether it's personal or professional.
And what have these experiences taught you so far?
Mm, it's all about life. It can change suddenly, and the compassion often requires sacrifice. But I have never stopped being committed to Canada or its values. You know how it represents.
Okay, okay. If you get a chance, if you could send a message to the member considering your case, what will be your message? One message.
That my absence was never meant to abandon my permanent residency in Canada. It was just an act of duty and love towards my family, towards a woman who, raised me. I'm ready to return home, contribute, and provide my daughter with future we dreamt of.
Okay, that's all, Mr. Philip. And it was really nice talking to you. Have a good future. Best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, counsel appellant Mr. Philip will act as a RCIC counsel and he will do the closing submission. Mr. Kamal Yogi, you can go ahead and give the closing statement.
Yes, thank you. Uh, Hello, Madam Member. This appeal is not about an individual who turned his back to Canada. It's about a man who was compelled by compassion, duty, and family circumstances to remain abroad longer than intended. Mr. Philip Torres is a permanent resident who was well established in Canada professionally, financially, and socially before an unforeseeable family emergency drew him away. His breach of residency obligation was not deliberate, but a consequence of deep moral responsibility towards a woman who raised him and the young daughter who was dependent on him. Pursuant to Section 28 of the Act, Mr. Torres was unable to fill his residency obligations of 730 days due to his family circumstances, which is why he filed an appeal with the division asking for relief and pursuant to Section 67, subsection 1C, to consider his case on agency grounds as well as watching the best interest of the child involved, which in this case is his daughter Marcella. While the absence was prolonged but not willful, spanned from March 2015 to the death of grandmother in 2018 till the achievement of financial capacity to return in 2019. Talking about Mr. Torres agency grounds, I would turn your attentions to about the very big factors in this case. Mr. Torres' circumstances met the core agency principles outlined in RIBIC and which were reformed in Shirawa and Ku. Uh, Second point is his grandmother's prolonged illness. The appellant sought time off from work 3 times, hoping to return to Canada after family members' health improves. She was his de facto mother who raised him after both his parents died when he was just 12. His presence in Brazil was required to provide full-time care to his grandmother and his daughter Marcella, as no one else could assume that role. His 2 sisters lived abroad with their family, young children, and work. It is confirmed through sworn affidavits that they were unable to return and help. And talking about family connections in Brazil versus connections in Canada, the appellant have strong social connections in Canada, and the other family members in Brazil had moved out of the country, and hence little or no emotional support was available or is available. We have attached a death certificate describing the complete family circumstances of the appellant's family situations over the years. The appellant spent his life saving during the caretaking period spent in Brazil, which is why Mr. Torres had to wait for the condo unit sale, because the financial proceeds from the sale would help him to cover the travel expenses and start his life in Canada fresh. Bank statements are also attached for your reference. Then I would like to talk about some connections to Canada. Firstly, Mr. Torres had a full-time employment in Canada before he left, and he, continuously made an effort to retain it by extending the time off periods. Time off request sheets and email communication with the employer is also attached. Also, we have provided with the flight itineraries and receipts along with the copy of a boarding pass, which depicts Mr. Torres' initial plan to visit Sao Paulo, showcasing the departure on March 17, 2015, and return to Canada on June 21st, 2015. His initial plan was for just 3 months and return to Canada to resume his usual routine in Canada. So this other point is the joint ownership of a condo unit in Toronto, which has a tangible asset in Toronto that he was maintaining. The sale and purchase agreements are also attached for your reference. He also maintained active bank accounts and tax filings till 2015. Bank accounts, statements, and notice assessments are attached for your reference. And most importantly, the social life in Canada. He had a romantic relationship with a woman called Miss Rosemary, and also has close friends who helped him while he was away from Canada. Sworn affidavit from a Canadian friend, Yevia Potet, is also available with this submission. These all are hallmarks of a well-established permanent resident. His decision to leave was not taken lightly. He left behind a stable career, a property which he maintained financially for several months after his departure. And proceeding to the closing of my statement, my submission, I would like to talk about the hardship upon loss of status. If this appeal is not allowed, Mr. Torres will permanently lose the right to live and work in Canada, a country where he was genuinely established as proved from documentary evidences attached with our submission. More importantly, his daughter Marcella, and now a young adolescent, will lose the opportunity to grow in a stable, multicultural, and a secure environment. Mr. Torres is now her only remaining parent and emotional anchor. It is clearly in her best interest to keep her united with her father in Canada, where she can access education, emotional stability, and future opportunities. We would request the division to consider the appellant's situation and grant relief from the residency obligation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rajkamalji, for your submission. This concludes the IAD mock hearing oral component for CSIA 101. I'm Ramandeep Kaur, and this is my contribution. Thank you so much.
Thank you.